Hi, I'm chatting with Colby Thicknesse, pro-MMA fighter and two-time IBJJF Pan Pacific Champion from the famous Freestyle Fighting Gym. He's coming off a win against Shaun Thompson in the very first round by a rear naked choke, and he's looking to put a statement at Eternal 61 next month in July. How you doing, Colby?
I'm doing very well. That was a good intro, my friend. I like that one.
How's quarantine treating you?
It's not too bad. It's all right. I'm still able to sort of train and sort of stick to somewhat a usual routine. Worst part's probably that I get bored a lot and I can't eat because I've obviously got to cut weight for my fight. So half my problem is just sort of sitting around. But other than that, it's been good so far.
So I noticed that you guys have been doing a little bit of stuff just to pass the time. You've been watching some fights. You've been playing some poker. Have you been winning any of these poker games?
Mate, surprisingly, I played my first game actually was with Volko on that. And I thought I played for more fun. So I sort of knew the rules, but I didn't understand them all. And I didn't go too well. Then the next day we played, I won two in a row actually. So I picked it up pretty quick.
So are you guys playing for money, or you take any money off the champ?
Oh, I wish I could, but now we have to pay with like sugar packets and like equals and coffee and shit like that. It's real povo poker.
Povo poker, I like it. So before we get into your own fight news, because I know I know you're fighting Kren at 61. So you've had a really good time in America. I mean, it sucks right now because you're in quarantine, but you've obviously enjoyed your trip. It's obviously been like it's a trip of a lifetime, to be fair, in America.
100%.
So before we get into, because obviously you were over there, you're supporting Volko and you're making sure that he's already ready to go for his fight, alongside your other teammates and things like that. I know Brad was there as well. Did you get COVID as well when Alex got COVID?
Yeah, I did. So what happened was I remember it was me, Geordie, and Mike was the three of us actually rolling together just as a sort of late night session on a Thursday, I think. Or was it Friday? I think it was maybe the Friday, day after Brad weighed in, the week before. Volko's meant to fight. And then we're just rolling, doing our usual sort of stuff. And Shane Young comes in and he just opens his door and he was like, "Oh, boys, Volko popped for COVID. We're all going to go back in the room." I'm like, "Haha, you're like, good joke." And he's like, "No, I'm serious." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, this escalated real quick." Then we all head back to our rooms, we isolate and that. Then about probably an hour later, we get told that I had it as well. And then it was weird too because we were all asymptomatic at that point. So we found out, and then we sort of had to isolate from ourselves. And the next day, we all got moved over to a hotel, and that's when sort of Volko's COVID started to get worse. Mine wasn't too bad. I felt tired for about 3 days, like extreme fatigue, talking like I'd sleep about 12 hours at night, and then I'd wake up, have a bit of energy to walk around in that, and I'd sleep for another 4 hours during the day in that. That was about 3 days worth. But besides that, I lost the taste and smell, but other than that, it wasn't sort of worse than a regular flu.
Yeah, that seems to be the usual thing. I mean, the loss of taste and smell seems to be a big one across most people.
Yeah.
I know Volko, he was coughing up like blood and things like that. You never got that bad?
Nah, I wasn't too bad. Yeah, he got it rough, man. I remember when the hotel because there was four of us with like a room next to each other. Then I remember each day just walking to his room, sort of feeling bad because the other three of us weren't too bad, and we're looking at Volko. He looks like a fucking zombie. His eyes are shrunken. He's like, I've got about 2 hours sleep. I had fevers and sweats all night. Yeah, he wasn't looking good.
Do you reckon that was just because he was cutting weight? Because you obviously weren't. You're trying to cut weight now, but at
Yeah,
that time you weren't cutting weight.
yeah, I think it was that. Yeah, well, what happened was we have a pretty strict sort of training schedule. We've just set hard workouts at set times, but because of the travel and that, we sort of had to back up a lot of high intensity sessions in a row whilst Volko was cutting. So that definitely would have helped because we normally sort of do hard session, low, hard, low sort of thing. Whereas he did about 3 or 4 super hard sessions back to back a week out from his fight. So he's obviously cutting weight depleted. So we think that's probably what played a factor in really escalating the sort of condition in that.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously all good now, and then it quickly turned into. I mean, when it came with TUF was coming back, there was few rumors that it was going to be Covington versus Usman, or maybe Covington versus Masvidal, and then obviously that wasn't going to happen. And there was a different range of different fighters on this specific season, and then TUF 29 became Volkanovski versus Ortega. So talk to me about a little bit more of your experience in America. You're 21 years old. You're working on your own professional career. and you essentially get to be part of TUF 29 at a pretty young age alongside your team and Craig Jones, who's a phenomenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had a laugh about like on Wikipedia that they were stating that you were the
Striking.
striking coach of the team. Yeah, yeah. But like, what was it like being there? What was your specific role in the team?
Well, I was fortunate enough to sort of, I didn't really take a sort of coaching role as that sort of thing because, as you know, we had Volko sort of head coach, Joe was assistant coach, Craig for jiu-jitsu, Frank Hickman for wrestling, and Woody for strength and conditioning. So we had pretty much every area covered. I was more there just to sort of get training in with the boys, but also be a body. So we had 8 guys, and say if guys had fights coming up, I'd sort of just be the body where they can sort of work their technique. I'd be the sparring rounds, or I could sort of let them work the game and have sort of just a safe training partner in that. That was mainly what I was doing. I was just trying to help out the boys as best as I can. Preparation for fights, hold a bit of pads, be a body for grappling, striking, get some live rounds in. So just a bit of everything.
So you did everything from pad work, sparring, just being a
Yeah.
general body.
General body, yeah, just pretty much just one of the boys working out, help them getting ready for their fights.
Right. So you obviously, what did you learn on the show? Because being a body for so many individuals, you get to meet. I mean, obviously there's probably a few kooky ones that are part of the cast, right? But you get to roll with a lot of bodies. You get to spar a ton. You get to work with alongside a lot of people. What are the big things in your mind that you learned on the show?
A lot of the stuff was just I always find when I go with a lot of different styles, you're sort of really forced to use what works for you. So it's not so much I learned like 1,000 different sort of cool techniques. It's more I was able to refine what I was good at and sort of find where the holes were. So if something wasn't working again, it might work at the gym here, but if it doesn't work on 4 or 5 guys on the TUF series, I have to sort of refine that, or vice versa. I'll find something that might not work as well because everyone knows my patterns out here, but when I go on fresh bodies haven't seen it before and it works well. And I can sort of really tick boxes off like that. But then again, just with the coaching stuff, like Craig Jones, I learn heaps, wrestling, I learn heaps. Volko's, I'm always soaking up his knowledge. So really feel like I've sort of leveled up in all sort of aspects.
Sweet. Well, I mean, I know you've obviously learned a lot. I mean, we're still set to see the rest of TUF 29. I know maybe the first couple of episodes have came out so far.
The first episode, yep.
Yeah. So the first one has came out. Obviously, I saw on your social media and things like that, you and Volkanovski, on your downtime, you and Alex, and I think this was before TUF was getting filmed because I think it was filmed across 4 weeks, correct?
About 5, I think, in total it ended up being, yeah.
Right. So you guys are out and about in America. What do you do? Because like I know you guys were doing like food and things like that. Other than being at the Joe Rogan experience, which would have been a really cool experience for you as well. What did you guys do? Where did you guys go?
Well, it was hard because we had a strict sort of schedule because the training days were Monday to Friday, Saturday off, train Sunday, and that was 2 a day. So we had like a 10 to 12 practice and a 4 to 6 practice. So there wasn't a lot of time really in between. But on the sort of day off, we'd sort of just go out for a bite to eat, go to like a pool party or something for a few drinks and that, and just sort of, as you can imagine, having fun being 21 in Vegas sort of thing. Did some hikes, but yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, now that you mention it, because it just came out in your mind, I saw a lot of you guys, you aligned by the pool and things like that. I'm like, TUF looks good. TUF looks fun.
Oh, mate, it's not a bad job. You train twice a day for 5 days straight, then you get a sort of day off to go relax in fucking 39 degrees Vegas weather at a pool party with thousands of people. It's not a bad gig.
No, it sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's good.
So let's get on to your fight news. Like we've already talked about, we can get a little bit on what's going on with Alex because his fight will be coming up a little bit after TUF against Ortega. So against your fight against Nick Kren, Eternal 61. So obviously you can't give me away a game plan or anything like that, right? You're cutting weight for it now. What are some things that stick out to you about Kren as a fighter? Obviously, he's got a little bit of background. I believe his last fight was a boxing bout early this year, I think maybe in March. Now, how do you predict the fight taking place? Is this going to be another first round finish like it was your last fight?
It's always hard with predictions, but I do feel like I will get the finish. I'm not someone who likes to rush them. I feel like if you try and rush finishes and force them, it's where you can sort of slip up, whereas I prefer to let the opportunity prevent itself. But as you're saying, he's a boxer. I think he's had eight amateur fights and with one professional. I think he might have been like 7-1, 8-1. He had a good
I
record.
believe he was 8-1 amateur wise. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he went 1-0 as a pro, I think. And then he's had 3 MMA fights, 2 wins, 1 loss. I watched both his fights, which I could see, and sort of just to study and get a feel. I feel like he's just going to come out sort of. It's probably going to seem like it's going to be that striker versus grappler matchup because he, on paper, probably has a cleaner and tidier hands than that. But then again, MMA is not a boxing fight. There's a lot more different things that you have to be worried about it just in a jab, cross, hook sort of thing. So I feel like wherever the fight goes, I'm going to be very comfortable and I'm really going to show sort of how much I've leveled up. This will be a good fight.
I mean, it definitely is a really good fight because we get to see pre-TUF and going to America and things like that, and then we get to see post-TUF, and we get to see, because you've already said you've learnt a lot, now it's you applying it now. It'd be cool to see how your game has evolved, because obviously when you're really young, you can pick up things like that really, really quickly, and you can implement it really fast. So it's obviously a big level up. We were expecting like a, if this was like level 1, this is now like level 2, 3, 4, 5, I can definitely say myself, I'm expecting a big level up from you.
Yeah, well, I feel like people won't be disappointed because we're fortunate enough we sort of record a lot of our sort of sparring sessions, even just rounds me and Volker get in or whichever sparring I can do. And I always like to sort of look back at a previous week. So say I might look at what sparring was like last month. And every single time I watch the previous sparring, I'm like, man, like even though it might have only been 3-4 weeks, I feel like I'm just a completely new fighter. Like put 2-month-old Colby in front of me now, I just make him in a round sort of thing. I feel like I'm just constantly at that constant level up and growth. It's been amazing so far.
Brilliant. And I totally agree. But with Kren, obviously having a little bit of boxing background and things like that, do you think that your own, you've got a really good ground game on the ground. Do you think that is something that you can employ in the fight as well, or at least can transfer over to the fight?
Oh, 100%. I'll be foolish to say that. I think he, not hating or dissing or anything, but I think he might only be a white belt, maybe a blue belt. And even then, I feel like my grappling ability from sort of rolling with Craig Jones almost every day, wrestling with Frankie, even just rolling at Temple and Austin for some open mats, with rolling with constant black belts, doing good, sort of holding my own and everything like that. I feel like for grappling will definitely be where the sort of biggest skill difference is there to sort of show and exploit.
Yeah, 100%. Now with your time in quarantine, you've either got to play Povo poker or you got to watch fights. Now, Eternal 60 was on Saturday, well, in Australia. I was there able to watch it since it was in Perth, and it was excellent. Now, I believe you were watching it as well as Alex was watching as well. Yep. What did you take away from the main event, specifically Erceg versus Haddon?
Man, what a fight that was. Both of them dudes just put it on the line. I thought that was an absolute cracker fight. Before the fight, I thought Cody might have taken it, to be honest, but Ursel just really surprised me. Like you can see why he's a flyweight champion. He's been on like a 6 or 7 fight win streak, all finishes. That dude's a stud, man. And just what a cracking fight that was. I couldn't imagine what it would have been like to be there live. It seemed amazing.
It was amazing. A few fights breaking out, but it was brilliant.
I didn't hear about that part.
There was a few caught on camera, but no, it was amazing. I had that second round going back and forth. Specifically, that second round was amazing. Now,
yeah, Cody coming back from that choke to almost dropping him, I think, at one point, and then Steve coming. Yeah, it was crazy.
It was amazing. Now, obviously, Erceg is typically, he's the eternal flyweight champion, moving up to bantamweight. And then we had Cody. He was officially 2-0 beforehand, and he's active in the bantamweight division. Would you be open to fighting either person in the future through the Eternal MMA promotion?
Oh, 100%. I'm happy to sort of fight anyone. As long as it's sort of, well, not even reason. I'm just happy to fight. If there's any bantamweight sort of in there that want to fight, like, I'm not going to shy away. You can't sort of try and pick and choose your fights if you want to make it to the big league sort of thing, because you're going to get exposed at one point. So I feel like whoever they put in front of me, sign a contract and we can fight sort of thing.
Confident and ready to go. So we're talking about how much you're leveling up, you're learning on TUF. You obviously have learned a lot through at Freestyle with your head coach, Joe Lopez. Specifically, two people come out in my mind. What are some big things that you've learned from Alex Volkanovski, and what have you also learnt that that is quite big in your mind, Craig Jones?
So from Volko, I would probably say that just his work ethic sort of thing. Like he has all the technical ability and everything like that, but just his pure work ethic, to see him in camp sort of day in, day out of the gym, just every session, giving him 100%, refining the littlest details. Even when he's sort of demonstrating moves, he's doing visualization techniques, and you would honestly think like there's another person there with a body if he's doing it by himself. Like how deeply he really thinks about it and how sort of hard he works. It's good to see, because you sort of need that mindset if you want to be the world champ, obviously. And then Craig was fucking ridiculous. Like I thought, oh, I might go right. Like I thought I had decent jiu-jitsu. Then the first roll, he fucking subs me 15 times in like 5 minutes. He's wrist locking me from side control, gets me against a wall, and just sort of like shoulder barges my head in there, just shits and gigs, just like it's nothing. But it was cool to grapple with someone of that sort of pedigree, and there was a lot of sort of tricks that I was able to pick up and learn from him that's definitely translating very well into sort of my style of grappling.
So did you find that obviously you're very good on the ground and things like that. Now, when you're rolling with Craig Jones, and obviously it's like the first time you're kind of rolling with him, you've had a bit of time rolling with him. How did you go with improving? You said you were picking up a few things. If you were being subbed maybe 15 times, did that number start to creep down a little bit as you started to get a little bit better with Craig?
It did, but I'm pretty sure he just sort of let me survive, because honestly, grappling with him was like he could end it whenever he wanted. But I think there were some points where he would let me sort of things that if I'd make a mistake straight away, say from a back position, he would capitalize straight away. But if I did the right thing, he would sort of go into the next thing where obviously could still finish it that way. But as long as I was sort of trying to make the right steps, I feel like the role could sort of progress further and further along, which is sort of my way of knowing that I was improving. There wasn't as many mistakes and as many chances for me to get caught. Still saying that, last time I rolled, I got wrist locked like twice, just from side control, just because he could. So still, it didn't help a lot, but in the big scheme of things, it definitely did help.
Yeah, understandable. The bigger, heavier guy, a little bit more experience from you in terms of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, that's amazing that you're picking up more things. I mean, either Gordon Ryan or Craig Jones, like, these are amazing people to learn from. It's really cool that you got to like experience this type of stuff, and it's cool that he's being like a good training partner, even though like he's got the ability to sub you at any time. He's being a good training partner,
just helping you flow if you wanted to. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it was really awesome. Cool. I'm really thankful for it. It was a good opportunity.
Now, a lot of people have been like looking on you and your Volkanovski's social media, like Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, when are we, or if? Are we going to see Vocal Volk? Is he going to retire from MMA and he's going to go sing? What's going on?
Fuck, I hope not, because he won't make much money. He's terrible. Nah, he's not too bad, actually. He's got a few lines, but there's actually, we did like, quarantine was making us go crazy, so we sort of did like a Mick voice show, which is on film. Might be released. Probably won't, because it took about half an hour, because Volko couldn't remember more than one line from a song, but he goes all right at singing. I think he's probably had a few lessons, to be honest.
You think he's got a few lessons of singing?
I think he's had a few lessons. That's my hunch. I reckon he has. He won't admit it though, but I reckon he's had a few singing.
He'll tell you that it's just God's gift. God's gift.
He'll just tell us God's gift, but I don't believe him for a second. He knows how to warm up and everything, so exactly right. If you have to. I said he had to warm up properly, so he had to do like his voice thing. So I'm like, you don't fucking learn that from being a natural singer. That's taught, that sort of stuff. So I'm sus on him.
Yeah, that's definitely sus if he already knows like a vocal warm up beforehand and he's ready to go already.
That's what I was thinking. When he was sneaking off to the bathroom, you could just hear him making the sort of vocal. I'm like, he's definitely done this before.
Oh, he sneaked off. No.
Oh, he did at one point. He was doing a few sort of laps in that, but then you could sort of hear him getting his vocals ready. I'm like, he knows what he's doing here.
Vocal Voc. He's already had a few singing shows. He's already had a career before MMA. There's rugby singing, and there's Chef. Oh yeah, Chef Volk as well.
Chef Volk, yeah, exactly, yeah. Man of many talents.
So you got a slight cameo, well, not cameo, a slight little mention on Joe Rogan. Are we going to see maybe a little cameo on his YouTube channel?
With Volks, you mean, or?
Yeah, with Volks. Yeah, cooking with Volk.
Oh, yeah. I'll be heaps of them, hopefully. It's probably me just stuffing my face, though, before I had to start cutting weight. I was enjoying the food, but at this point I had to tone it down. But yeah, he's done a sort of, there should be a few good videos coming out from some sort of good content that we're able to get, and I'm definitely in most of them. Just, if he's cooking, I'm eating it pretty much.
Sweet. Brilliant. All right, so thanks for having a time chatting with me. That was really cool, Colby.
No worries.
So everyone can catch you fight Nicholas Kren next month at Eternal MMA on the 17th of July. That's going to be in the Gold Coast. Get your tickets. Wishing you all the best, man, with your fight with Kren. And what day are you now on you're counting down the last days of quarantine. What day is this now?
Fuck. I think today's Monday. We get up Friday. I don't even. I thought it was Tuesday. No, but it's Monday, and we get up. I get out Friday morning between like 4 a.m. and 10 a.m. I think. So we've got like Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So we've got like 4 more nights.
Shit.
I'm cheering.
You better win a few rounds of Povo Poker on me, okay?
Mate, if I win in them, I'm filming these now, eh?
Need proof because Volk will say otherwise.
Yeah, exactly right.
Thanks for chatting with me. Appreciate it, Colby.
Is it all, brother?
Good luck with Eternal 61, okay?
Legend, thank you.